Hey race fans, Big Trev coming at you again. Um, a little later than I'd like, but be talking about the Go Bowling 400 from Kansas. And I'll tell you what, the big story was a crash involving Eric Almirola, Danica Patrick, and Joey Logano. Almirola had a back injury from that crash and is probably not going to be racing for quite a while. Um, the race was pretty good at first. It was kind of quiet I'd say the first 100 miles or so, 150 miles. Then um, it started getting really racy once it got darker and darker out and nightfall, and track was track was a little slick, and um, but it was good for a night race. It was really good. Kansas was a very good race. Um, I did like um, I did like the fact that we had a variety of strategies going on, and I did like the fact that we had a lot of yellows because it made the crew chiefs kind of roll the dice, I guess you could say. So that was good. But the main story was the crash, and the crash I wanted to talk about because that was big. Joey Logano, racing Danica Patrick for about 10th or 12th, had a brake rotor malfunction. The brake rotor busted off, or not brake rotor, I'm sorry, brake pad. The brake pad busted. It looked like it came right through the hood, or the cowl flap by the hood. And then when that happened, his car turned left, hooked Danica right into the wall. And when she hit the wall, Almirola couldn't get slowed down. He was about probably a good 5 to 8 seconds back, and he said he was in the high side and he just couldn't get slowed down. He couldn't turn the car. It was like he was literally on ice. So he thought that Danica had broken her oil cooler or her radiator, and all that fluid got on the tires. Non-treaded tires, good luck. You're gonna be on ice. And then Almirola slid right into Logano, or Patrick and Logano, and his car got airborne. And he said it was one of the biggest hits he's ever taken. And he said as soon as he hit, he felt something in his back hurt him. And then because the car went like this, when he hit, boom, and then so it was up like this, and then it came back down. And he said when he came back down, he felt even more pain. But he was alert and awake, so he put his window nut down. And because of all the debris, they threw the red flag and had to clean it up. But it was one of the scariest crashes I've seen. Danica was out of her car. Record timing. I mean, when her car stopped, she was out of it probably 5 seconds later. She had lots of fire though, so she wanted to get out of that thing. And then the main focus was stopping the field because of all the debris scattered everywhere. And the main focus was getting Almirola out of his car. So they had to cut the roof off to get him out, and it was a tedious process, but they did everything right, because you just never know. As a safety worker, you just never know whose car is hurt, or where the driver's hurt, and how bad the wreck is. Is there going to be a fire that starts? I mean, you just never know. They extricated him from his car, and he was taken to the infield care center, and then he was flown to a local hospital. But that was the main story of that race, was Eric Almirola, and he'll likely be sidelined. So that's pretty much it for that race. I mean, it was just chaotic, and that was after that it kind of settled down, but there was still more yellows after. It was a really good race, I would say. Um, for a mile and a half, it definitely was a good track, good race. And then the truck race the night before that was pretty good too. But um, I apologize for this late video, but I was not feeling good. I had tonsillitis and it was pretty bad, so I was pretty sick, and that's why I didn't do the video because I could hardly talk. So our next race is Charlotte. It is the Coke 600. That is the next points race. Of course, you get the All Star race, but that's just for money. But next points race is the longest race of the season, and that's Memorial Day weekend. It's Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte. It's 600 miles, 400 laps. Yeah, that'll be a long race, and it should be good because they got the stage racing. So, um, Xfinity races there as well. So, and I believe after Charlotte, then it's Dover first weekend in June. Then it's Pocono. Then it's Michigan and Sonoma, and then that will close out the Fox portion of the racing season. So that's then it goes back to NBC, and that's 4th of July weekend. So we're not all that far away from a new broadcast crew. So I'm kind of excited about that myself because this year's coverage on Fox has not been too good. So that's just my opinion. All right, so with that, I'll leave you, and we will talk to you next week for the Coke 600.